and sisters, we've all turned up the radio to hear Brother Jimmy Lakey, from coast to coast and shore to shore. Now raise your voice. Oh, let us all, Jimmy Lakey, get out of bed. Jimmy Lakey, raise your voice. Jimmy Lakey, Lakey, hey, can't live without it with Jimmy Lakey. Jimmy Lakey.
All right, I'm warming myself up in here. I got to warm myself up today. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the program. If I were you, I would be excited to see me also, and even more excited if you're listening to the program and you say, doggone it, who's a guy with the dulcet tones? Well, Jaime Lagos, it's nice to be here. TGIF, thank God it's Friday. Hallelujah, it's Friday, says Linda on the screen. Glad to have all of you here on the program. This is a labor of love, I tell you. Producer Chad is sick as a horse. He was sick on the show yesterday when he came on, made an appearance. Some of you stumbled in your walk with the Lord. You didn't even see Producer Chad in his top form. When he popped on the show yesterday, full video display of the full Monty of Producer Chad, in a sense, not that kind of full Monty. He was sick. He was not feeling well. This morning he's sick. He climbed himself out of bed, went to the producer's studio, and is producing the show again this morning. So say a nice prayer for Producer Chad that he would get well. I was feeling good last night. So Producer Chad, I have a bottle of Blanton's. You know what Blanton is? If you know, you know. That I said, if we'd like to share some, and you have to come to the house and the Lakey estate, and I will let down the moat and pull in the alligators, and you can come right in. He said, I'm too sick for Blanton's. And I said, oh my God, he's really sick. So he's up this morning producing the show. I was up until 3:30 a.m., not because I wanted to be. I had a situation we're dealing with in Rwanda in Africa for a charity that I had to converse with my fellows at real time, and they were asleep in the afternoon and 9 hours time difference. So anyway, it's a labor of love. This would have been a day that lesser men would have called in sick and taken a rain check on the show, or called in the substitute host. But here we are. Here we are this morning, Friday, the 21st day of November, year of our Lord, 2025. Pleasured, pleased, and thrilled to have you on the show. I'll get into some details of what I was talking about, the situation we're dealing with in Rwanda. A very tragedy broke out yesterday. We had to address and handling that. So we'll talk about that and to give you. People say, Jimmy, it's so nice you run this nonprofit and how warm and fuzzy it makes you feel. I will never be able to. What if I could run it now? Go do it. Because sometimes you have something that happens that you have to deal with in a tragic situation. We had a girl a couple of years ago got run over, not at our school, but a kid at our school got run over by a car or a truck and was killed. We had to deal with that kind of crisis and fallout that happens, and something else happens. So I'll update you here in just a minute, but thank you to all of you that did help with Producer Chad's matching funds offer yesterday. He and his wife said we'll match the first $500 of donations that come in, and I think we got there pretty handily. Got over the top, right of the line with a lot of the listeners, and then Jay Ratliff made a generous donation yesterday. So we hit that goal. We're gonna have to set another one for today with this situation, but I'll tell you about that here in a minute. All right, it's seditious Democrats. Let's talk about this. Everybody see the video? It's been circulating around for now a couple of days. We've talked about it on the show, in which these Democrats have served in various places of service, from the military to the CIA, put out a video saying, if you're in the CIA, wink, wink, you can kill people. I mean, you can kill the president. I think that's what they're getting at. I think that's what the seditious Dems. President Trump, Jason Crow of Colorado, from, I believe, the 6th Congressional District. He was on that video, and a lot of kickback on this. And I'm curious if you have had any of that. A lot of you listen to the program in Colorado. Have any of you contacted or heard any statement from old Jason Crow? Is he defending himself? Jason Crow paints himself, and we appreciate his service to the country. I'm sure it was well-intentioned, but Jason Crow paints himself and hides himself in his military service. But Jason Crow was appointed and anointed by none other than Mama Nancy Pelosi. Jason Crow has always been and always will be a hack that sucks on the teat of Nancy Pelosi. And I think he went crazy with his video with his seditious behavior. He goes crazy with this video because maybe he couldn't handle that Mama Nancy's moving her boobies into retirement. I don't know. It's just Jason Crow is a sick individual by this video. And I don't know if he could get help for his sickness at the VA. I'm not sure where it comes from. But this video was seditious. And unfortunately, there will be no. It's unprecedented in U.S. history what these Democrats did to subvert the chain of command and the commander-in-chief of the United States of America. Give me your thoughts if you saw the video, if you have thoughts on that. Some people were saying, well, I wish President Trump wouldn't have said what he said. He said what he said out of anger that they're subverting the freaking country. They're basically giving a wink and a nod that, hey, you know, we have a deep state. We have an underbelly in the military. We have an underbelly in the CIA. There's a deep state out there. And, you know, if you have orders that you would like to determine are illegal, wink, you don't have to perform those. You can rebel, and we will have your back here. Anybody that served in the U.S. military knows the code of conduct that they have, and they know and are trained as to what orders are legal and how they're supposed to behave, and they're well aware of it. And it was really a sick and twisted video that put out by these many Democrats, but it shows how sick and twisted and dark they are in their heart, that they just don't understand that they have lost an election. They've lost a lot of people in their opinion, and rather than getting back in the arena of ideas of how they're going to make people's lives better, they're out there subverting the U.S. Constitution. Jason Crow is a pathetic individual, and I think he should offer the resignation in the 6th District of Colorado. He should step his ass out of office and go seek the mental help that he needs, because I'm not sure he's going to be able to cope. He's already shown signs of breaking now that his puppet master, Nancy Pelosi, is stepping out of office. So Jason Crow, please go get the help you need. You served your country, but don't do a disservice to your country now by continuing in office. You need to go seek help because you're showing signs of mental delusion and a lack of understanding of the Constitution, and everybody else that was on that video as well. We'll talk more about that throughout the course of the morning, but give me your thoughts, especially, I know there's probably some of you on the listening audience right now that live in the Jason Crow Congressional District in Colorado, and some of you are out of state as well. Love to have all of you give comment on that. Seditious Democrats. It's a sad world when the people that have served their country don't seem to any longer understand the Constitution, or they are so filled with Trump derangement syndrome that they cannot just let it go, and they're subverting the Constitution because of that. Isn't it interesting? The Democrats were claiming this great victory lap a couple of weeks ago, that they had won these elections and all this was fantastic for them, and Democrats were really kicking butt. They were rejecting Republicans in New York and Virginia. And what did I say? Don't read too much into it. The Democrats are going to have a victory lap, and they're going to dance and pretend that they know the Trump dance, which they don't. They're going to really pretend that they have really hit a nerve with America. And what did I say on the program? I said, what you had in that election a couple of weeks ago, Democrat states, Democrat cities did what Democrat states and Democrat cities are going to do. They Democrated, and it was not necessarily a sign of national momentum for the Democrats. And people said, no, the Republicans have to change their message and really start talking about affordability all the time. That's what won those elections. If affordability was the winning message that the Democrats thought they could glom onto right now, if affordability was really the message, and the Democrats had some hope to offer for people that think that is a top priority, then the Democrats would have stayed on message. Was it a fake victory lap? Was it a fake, we found the message? No, I'll say it again, Democrat state, New York, Virginia, did what Democrat states do. Democrat municipalities like New York City, Portland, Minneapolis, they did what Democrat blue municipalities do, and they Democrated. And you just have to take it to that. You can always learn something. There's always some notes to take and say, oh, notice this trend. But as far as a national trend, if they thought that was the national trend to talk about affordability, I'm sure Democrats would still be talking about it. But now, rather than a couple of weeks after the election, are they talking about affordability? Do you know one policy that the demented, insane Jason Crow has to offer when it comes to affordability? If that was the winning message, why isn't Jason Crow have his little smarmy ass out there talking about affordability? Because it was a Democrat state, a Democrat election doing what Democrats do. And so what are they back to? They don't have a winning message. They don't have a winning sermon to preach. And so because they don't have that, they're back to Trump hating and Trump derangement syndrome. All the Democrats have, besides intellectual bankruptcy and a very dark soul supporting very dark policy, all the Democrats have right now is that they hate Donald Trump. And they do have a collection of Jasmine Crockett wigs that I guess when Jason Crow wants to play dress up, he could probably borrow one of Jasmine's wigs. Give me your thoughts on this. Seditious Democrats, is there any more evidence than you need that what I told you about the November election a couple of weeks ago is actually true, that this was not about a winning message? This was about Democrats doing what Democrats do. Dem states doing what Dem states do. You get the rhythm there? I'm trying to drill it in your head so that the clickbait networks and the clickbait propagandists out there that tell you this is a national trend, what happened? No, it's not a national trend. Always something to learn, but November's election was not a national trend. It was simply Democrat states doing what Democrat states do. And if they had the national trend, if they had the winning message, they wouldn't have needed to revert back to their sick derangement syndrome of Donald Trump. And I really think someone should do a welfare check on Jason Crow, because I'm not sure Jason Crow is going to be able to survive in the U.S. Congress without the teat of Mama Pelosi there that he has lived off of his entire political career. Look it up. She was one of the first people that promoted him and propelled him into office. Even when other people considered getting in that race, it was Mama Pelosi out there with the teat out there saying, no, I got Jason here and he's going to be your guy. So Jason Crow is a puppet of Nancy Pelosi, and either he has been broken by Donald Trump or he's gone delusional and crazy because the teat that he has sucked off of in government, Nancy Pelosi. I mean, what's he going to do? I don't know how somebody check on how Jason Crow is doing on his insider trading. I mean, I don't know, have his stocks gains go up? We should look that up. How has Jason Crow's, I'm just asking a question, how has his net worth gone up? We know Nancy Pelosi the last several years has done very, very well in the stock market, and I wonder if Jason has done it just as well or done that. So, Delilah, I'm going to put you on that task to look that up and see if we can get an answer. How has Jason's net worth increased, and how has his portfolio benefited? And maybe that's why he's so deranged right now, because Nancy's leaving and their morning stock tips are not going to go be there. I don't know. Maybe he doesn't invest in the market. I don't know. But Mama Nancy made Jason what he is today, and maybe he feels broken because Mama Nancy has announced her retirement. All right, check that one off the list. Give us your thoughts on the demented Democrats, especially those of you who served in the military, you veterans out there, maybe some active duty. If you can comment without causing conflict of your role in office, because I know you're not supposed to necessarily in active duty be blatantly political in things you do. I know you have opinions, but you get the idea. But if you're a veteran, when you saw these Democrats out there telling you don't have to obey a lawful, did you think it was code for something? To me, it's a dog whistle. It was those unlawful orders. Well, which ones? Well, the ones Trump's given. He's a threat to the Constitution. And again, this is what they're doing. They were hoping that they could take him out with Russiagate. They were hoping they could take out Donald Trump with scandal and controversy and indictments. They were hoping that they could take him out with an assassin's bullet, They were hoping of all these things that were that they did not get. And so now they're just hoping for some kind of an insurrection or military coup, it sounds like to me. Give me your thoughts, especially from the perspective of those who have served your country. I would love to get your take on this video that Jason Crow wrapped himself up in with a bunch of other crazy-ass Democrats basically calling for sedition. I see Jeff commented, he said, I think our current network of troops are smart enough to smell the BS. Jason Crow has zero respect for any veteran I know. Veterans, how do you feel? Jason Crow out there wrapping himself up in the cloak of service and yet somehow giving a wink and a nod to the deep state and military coup. Was it seditious behavior? Jeff also says Hegseth got rid of the most deserting and rebelling types. The brass balls are returning to the military. Let's hope so. Unfortunately, we have a lot of knuckleheads, not brass balls, in the hallowed halls of Congress, and Jason Crow is among the biggest of the buffoons. And again, somebody do a welfare check on Jason this morning, because he may just be either Donald Trump has broken him into a very sick individual, or he's just mourning the loss of his puppet master, Nancy Pelosi, who made him and gave him the position of power that he has today. Jason Crow would not be in the hallowed halls of Congress had Nancy Pelosi not offered her teat for him to suckle on while he climbed in the power in the tower of political power. Jason Crow owes himself and his identity as a politician to Nancy Pelosi, and either Trump has broken him and derangement syndrome has taken out of him what sadly was in him, or Nancy Pelosi's departure has caused him to go crazy. I mean, when's the last time you heard Jason Crow in the national news? Nobody gave a rat's ass about who Jason Crow was. I mean, yeah, he represented the congressional district where Trendy Aragua was taking over apartment complexes, but no one knew as Jason Crow. That was considered a city of Denver, city of Aurora thing. No, that was Jason Crow's district. And Jason Crow is now in the national news. Is it one or the other? Somebody help me. Jason Crow either has been broken by Donald Trump once and for all, or he can't handle it that Mama Nancy is not going to give him a daily little suckle on the teat of insider trading. I don't know which it is, but we can figure it out. Mike comments, hey, Mike, how are you? But good to have you listening. Clearly sedition. Mike has a military background. I know him. You never want to put doubt in the minds of the soldiers. Trying to put politics into service is the next level. Wow. Again, Jason Crow has betrayed America, and he owes it to the people of the 6th District to resign from his office for violating something that's very clearly not what our founders would have ever intended. I have an interesting point of history, and I just want to put it in historic perspective. How about that? We oftentimes view politics from the realm of the world we're in today. Most people think that the modern world begins the day that they're born, and probably the real modern world is the day they're in high school or in college. That's why you have so many friends that kind of relive their college days. We all know that person that can go back and they can quote, remember that play on November the whatever, and it was a Friday night and I was the quarterback and it was a 4th down, and remember we gave the ball to Bubba. They can replay every part of their high school and or college career, whether it's sports or what have you. You know those types of people. I was listening to, in all respect to those who have served their country on the anniversary of the Marine Corps birthday, the 250th birthday of the Marine Corps. I was with a lot of people that week. There were several celebrations that I attended in which their Marine Corps guys, I won't call them veterans or past Marines. They're Marine Corps guys, and they were all there. Many of them not looking near as sharp as what they used to look. Like I can judge, right? And they were talking about, and they could go through antics. Well, I remember the Sarge did this and this, and they're going through play by play, and you could tell that was the pinnacle of their mental and physical acumen. And they were replaying it like a guy reliving the final drive on his homecoming football game in high school. And there's nothing wrong with that, but you know people that are stuck there. Well, a lot of folks get stuck in the history of where they're at now, and the modern history begins the day they're born. I have an interesting point of history from Honest Abe Lincoln. We have an American history that started before Ronald Reagan, before George W. Bush. For some of you, started before Kennedy. There were other presidents, and to all of us, they probably seem like ancient history. And I'm just going to let this history story go out for what it's worth, and just let you know that there have been seditious Democrats before, and what happened to them. Again, this is just a point of history. This is not instructive by any manner. This is not something that I encourage. I'm just giving you perspective that we have had people in the Democrat Party, whether the old Democrat Party or the new Democrat Party, it's the same Democrat, the party of the KKK. That's the Democrats out there. Let me just read this. This is Jim Hoft, the Gateway Pundit. Let me just share this with you as a point of order in American history. Former CIA official and current U.S. Senator from Michigan, Elizabeth Slotkin, and a group of Democrat former military and intelligence community congressmen and senators released a video on Tuesday to address current military and intelligence community members. The seditious Democrats falsely told the U.S. military, sailors and Marines, and intelligence personnel that the president is pitting them against American citizens and they have a duty to disobey his alleged illegal orders. Now, they couldn't tell us what an illegal order was, but hey, this president's a threat. You got to disobey his orders. Well, is he illegal orders? Well, which one's illegal? As Kristen Taylor reported, the seditious conspirators featured a video. There are Elizabeth Slotkin, Mark Kelly of Arizona, former Navy officer and NASA astronaut, Chris DeLuzio from Pennsylvania, former Navy officer Representative Maggie Goodlander of New Hampshire, former Navy Intelligence Reserve officer and wife of Biden National Security Jake Sullivan, and former Air Force officer Jason Crow, former Army Ranger. So we go through this whole list of bio, and they're out there winking and nod, saying Donald Trump's really a threat. He's not obeying the Constitution, so you can wink. We got your back if you disobey his orders. Slotkin posted the video with a statement that said, quote, "We want to speak directly to the members of the military and the intelligence community. The American people need you to stand up for our laws and Constitution. Don't give up the ship." Well, first of all, there's nowhere in the Constitution that members of Congress have any role in speaking to the members of the military. They are not in their direct command. As a matter of fact, President Trump or President Biden or President Obama or President George W. Bush, whoever the president is, they have sole role as the commander-in-chief of those people. And so for members of Congress to, quote, speak directly to them, they have no authorization to do so. So Alyssa Slotkin releases this. And let me give you this point of history. And then Donald Trump comes out and talks about seditious behavior at the highest level. These traitors should be arrested and put on trial, said Donald Trump. And there's this story. Past presidents have executed traitors, seditious conspiracy. This has happened throughout history. Now, let me give you the history of it. Again, not instructive. It's just to put it in perspective that it's not the first time in American history that the party of the KKK, the party of Nancy Pelosi, the party of Jared Polis, the party of you just name it, Chuck E. Schumer, they have committed seditious behavior. Let me read this. The great and wise Abraham Lincoln also witnessed seditious behavior from the left and was eventually assassinated by another radical Democrat. But he had actually, according to Grok, look it up, he had hanged traitors. Abraham Lincoln's administration executed people convicted of treason related to wartime offense. They arrested them and tried them and acted accordingly. Anybody that was a Confederate sympathizer or guerrillas, several people convicted of treason, sabotage, aiding the Confederacy were executed under Abraham Lincoln. It was not mass riots in the street. It wasn't into that kind of, no lynch mobs, but there was a protocol in America. William Bruce Mumford was in New Orleans. That happened to him. At least 4 men in Missouri in 1864 for treason after being caught crossing Union lines, crossing to join the Confederates Army. Numerous Confederate guerrillas, bridge burners and spies, Sam Davis in Tennessee, 1863, all had military trials for seditious behavior. It goes on, the whole list of history of what has happened when Democrats before have crossed the lines of sanity and crossed into the line of sedition. So for people to say, Donald Trump, he's the first president in American history that has ever said members of Congress might be committing sedition. No, there's a long list of people who were punished. Now, to my knowledge, none of them were public officials, but maybe the public officials then actually had a little bit more common sense. Lincoln was most notably merciful by the standards of Civil War presidents. He routinely would pardon or commute death sentences for deserters and other people that were spies or saboteurs. But of the roughly 267 Union soldiers that were formally sentenced to death and forwarded to him for review, he approved execution in less than 50 of the cases. Abraham Lincoln was mostly issuing pardons to people that by the system for seditious behavior were not going to live much longer. And so there is a historic perspective that America has dealt with sedition. And ask yourself in this day and age with Jason Crow and these whack jobs out there putting out a video that really has forced them to be called upon to resign, you have to ask yourself, Where does this fall in history? Well, Abe Lincoln knew how to deal with that. Dave says, according to Dan Kaplan, who's a talk show host in Colorado, you outside of the state, apparently all lawyered up before they put up that video, and that should tell you something right there. Oh, they knew exactly what they were doing. Democrats are full of lies and hate. It's kind of like, what was it, Jasmine? She put out a statement the other day, and she says, well, Lee Zeldin, he took a donation from Jeffrey Epstein. She knew full well it wasn't that Jeffrey Epstein, but she still was willing to talk to her lawyers, figure out if you'll just say a Jeffrey Epstein, not the Jeffrey Epstein, then everyone will know, and that will cover your ass on slander. Well, this is what the Democrats do. They lawyer up. They're going to say some crazy things, and as they say some crazy things, you have to know that they've lawyered up so that they can get by with that. Scott says this, and I don't want to go with it, but I'm just going to say this is what Scott put up there. I floated the idea maybe Jason Crow has either been broken mentally by Donald Trump, as so many Democrats have, or maybe Jason Crow is upset and in derangement syndrome or frantic because Mother Nancy has left him alone in the hallowed halls of Congress because he was always Nancy's boy. Scott did some quick research in the chat room. Scott's usually trustable. As of July the 16th, 2025, Jason Crow's net worth is an estimated $4.3 million. Now, there are 435 people in the House of Representatives. I'm not sure, but he ranks 156th in Congress. Now, I'm guessing that's the House of Representatives, or is it in the entire body of Congress, which would be the Senate. And nevertheless, if you're out there researching, look up what Jason Crow was worth before he became a U.S. congressman. Now, I don't know his background. I know his bio says he's a former Army Ranger, and we appreciate the service that he gave to the country. Hopefully it was more patriotic and wrapped in red, white, and blue than his term in the hallowed halls of Congress, where he's just been wrapped up in Nancy Pelosi's coattails the entire time. Hopefully he used to serve with patronage to the red, white, and blue, as opposed to patronage to Nancy Pelosi and the hate that has filled his heart. But I'm just asking you, Jason Crow's net worth, if Scott is right, and I don't doubt it, about $4.3 million. Now, I don't know what he did after Army Ranger school. For all I know, he invented like something and he became rich. But if his net worth is $4.3 million, he's in the top 25% of all of Congress with his net worth roughly. Did that wealth and abundance come during his term of Congress? That's the curious thing. And I again, maybe he had a great career before he ran for Congress after serving as an Army Ranger. I don't know. Give me your thoughts. Appreciate the information, Scott. We'll continue to look into it. I asked Delilah to do it, but she's playing a yo-yo in the corner. I asked Delilah to get on it. She's like, I got a yo-yo. Okay, yeah. Walking the dog, rocking the cradle, or whatever they do. She's doing all the tricks over there. Where the hell did you get a yo-yo? Oh. She says she got a yo-yo from Aiden, one of the other hipster youth. They bring toys to work. I don't even know what's going on anymore. All right, let's have fun. Let's have some fun. A couple of fun stories I have not gotten to this week. By the way, Doug Giles is going to be on the show today. Everybody ready for Doug? Doug's going to be here. It's going to be exciting to have Doug back on. And you got to take in every moment of Doug Giles today because he's on with us Friday, right? This next Friday will be Black Friday. I will be just to have arrived in Africa, and we will not be doing a show on Black Friday. So sorry to disappoint you. The following Friday, I'll be in Africa next Friday. And the following Friday, I will be getting ready to board a plane to come back to America. And we will not be doing a show then because it's 9 hours time difference. And it's morning here, but it's about the time I'm boarding a flight there. So the next 2 Fridays after today, we will not have a program. At least live show here, but so take in every bit of Doug Giles that you can this morning. That comes up at 9 o'clock in the Mountain Time, 11 o'clock on the East Coast. Anybody heard this story? Moving to some more fun stuff besides the seditious Jason Crow. The last penny ever to be minted has survived wars. It has survived famine. It has survived nuclear blast. The penny has lived through a lot of American history. And yet now the penny is going bye-bye. They're no longer going to produce them as of now. 300 billion pennies are still in circulation. The fact is that we're not making more because the penny shortage could happen over the holidays. We're not making more people. I saw it at the bank. Please give exact deposits. If you need a penny back in your deposit, we may not be able to give you pennies. I've seen warnings at stores that they're expecting a penny shortage. I'm wondering, though, if all of us would go through not just our seat cushions, but all of us would go through the ashtrays that we have, or those little cups or bowls that we have sitting around the house that we collect spare change in. Maybe when you empty your pockets out, you set it on the dresser, or you put it wherever you put your pennies at, your spare change. You know, they say that there's a penny shortage right now, because they're not going to continue to mint them, because they cost like 2 to 3 cents to make, and they're only worth 1 penny. It costs more to make them than that. And so it's a budget thing, but people still need pennies. And now they're saying could be a shortage of pennies. Do you think there would still be a shortage of pennies if all of us in America went and got all the spare pennies that are maybe have fallen down on the floor of your car, or maybe are on that little bowl or that dish that's on your dresser, or wherever you put your car keys, all the spare change? Maybe some of you have a swear jar and you have to put all your spare change in there that you collect, and you know, for swearing somebody wins it, or maybe you're just collecting coins. I wonder if there would be an actual penny shortage if we all surrendered our loose pennies around the house. So I think there would be a real penny shortage. I'm not exactly sure. 34% of people say they have more than 100 pennies floating around. Another 34% in a survey say they have less than 100 pennies floating around. 25% say I have no idea how many pennies I have that I could put together. 7% of Americans claim that they're penniless. They have 0 pennies in their life. How many pennies do you have right now? Do you have 100 or more pennies in your life? I'm asking the question. How many pennies do you have? It's not necessarily a question of the day. I've got that still to come. Do you have any pennies in your life? How many pennies? How many of you are actually right now in the audience could tell me you're absolutely penniless? You have no pennies. There's not a penny in the car ashtray. There's not a penny on the dresser. There's not a penny stuck on the floor. You to your knowledge, you have no pennies. I'd like to meet you, because I've got a lot of pennies, and oftentimes I don't know what to do. 34% of Americans say they have more than 100 pennies laying around. So if you're that person, remember, when you see that sign that says we have a penny shortage in America, it could be your fault. You know, I know the Democrats like to blame everything on Donald Trump, and we can blame a hell of a lot on Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, and Jason Crow, and Jared Polis, and Gavin Newsom. But listen, if the penny shortage affects you, it's probably someone in the chat room. It's probably their fault. 34% of Americans say they have more than 100 pennies that they could use and give in. And if they did that, that'd be good. Next week is Thanksgiving. This is our final Friday show before Thanksgiving, obviously. And producer Chad knows that I like gravy. Southern boy, you don't get a body like this eating kale all the time, my friends. You know, this is just, I've earned this. And he knows I like gravy. So a lot of times he'll say, oh, look, because producer Chad is a great cook, and he will show me a recipe or show me something he's doing. And I say, you know what would make that better? And he will roll his eyes and go, gravy. I'm like, yeah, white sausage, creamy gravy. Oh, that would make that even better. And so I like the gravy. Well, I saw this and my heart was blessed. And I want to bless your heart as well, because yeah, I want to be a blessing, and I have been blessed. Let me read this story to you. Would you be okay with chicken instead of turkey on Thanksgiving? Sure, I'll be happy with that. KFC is hoping you're going to say yes, and they're trying to insert themselves into the Thanksgiving with a new meal that they're offering called the Extra Crispy Festive Feast. Say it with me, Delilah. Extra Crispy Festive Feast. Thank you. Extra Crispy Festive Feast. Instead of turkey, you're going to get a bucket of fried chicken along with a flight of 3 different gravies. You know, a flight is just, it makes it sound fancy, right? You're going to get 3 different kinds of gravy with that. A flight of gravy. I've heard of a flight of wine or a flight of whatever, but yeah, this is a flight of gravy, which actually I'd take that. I think that's fantastical. $25, you're going to get 8 pieces of chicken, 2 sides of mashed potatoes, 4 biscuits, and 3 types of gravy. The gravies are, you ready? A drum roll, please. Here we go. The KFC gravies include a brown gravy. That's all right. a white peppercorn gravy. White gravy? Yeah, put some sausage in that, baby. That'd make it better. White peppercorn gravy and a new gravy that they're going out there. It's called Southwest Cheddar Gravy. It almost looks like they just added queso to the menu, I think, but they're calling it gravy. But either way, if you want to call queso gravy, that makes gravy even a better food category. I'm starting to think that gravy should be its own food category. Because producer Chad shows me these things he makes. He's like, smother it in green chili. It's a Colorado thing, New Mexico thing as well. And I'm like, well, mix it with white sausage gravy, and it would be a real good thing. Anyway, the KFC has added to the gravy line as Southwest Cheddar Gravy. The press release cites a poll that more than 35% of Americans say they don't like turkey. And so they're saying, hey, we got 35% of Americans that don't want turkey on Thanksgiving, so we should serve them something besides turkey. Let's give them fried chicken. Speaking of Thanksgiving, another fun story here. That 82 million travelers are expected out this year. That's up about 2 million people. Only 80 million people traveled last year. 73.3 million of the people that are going out are going to drive. 6 million will fly. 2.5 million will take buses, trains, or other modes of transportation. Personally, I think like Greta Thunberg, go buy a canoe or something and travel that way. Yeah, save the planet this Thanksgiving. But if you're going to leave on a road trip, you need to know where. It depends on where you're headed. The worst times to be on the road are going to be next Tuesday, this coming Tuesday, from noon to 9 p.m. You don't want to be on the road from noon to 9 p.m. Don't worry, I'll be on a plane to Africa. Don't worry about me. And then also next Wednesday, so Tuesday evening and then Wednesday from 11 o'clock to 8 p.m. And those are really broad stretches, but basically if you can avoid traveling pretty much late on Tuesday or sometime midday and late on Wednesday, then you're probably going to avoid some of the Thanksgiving traffic. The best day to drive if you're going to go somewhere, if you got to hit the road, is next Thursday. Not a lot of traffic, especially on Thanksgiving morning itself. If you're renting a car to make the drive, Hertz said next Wednesday is going to be the busiest day for vehicle pickups. Domestic car rental rates are supposedly down 15%. So there's your best and worst days to travel for Thanksgiving if you're going somewhere. What else do I have here? Oh, yeah, I did the gravy story, right? They're also, I'm told, Heinz, the Heinz ketchup company, and I haven't found it yet. I think it's online. I'm going to look this up, producer Chad. Heinz is producing gravy. They already have gravy in mixes, and they have gravy in a glass jar. I'm told that Heinz is producing a squeeze bottle of gravy. I don't know the details of it. I will be learning about that right after I learn about Jason Crow's net worth. But I'm going to watch it because I think it's fantastic to think about a squeeze bottle of gravy. Now, the problem with that is it's going to be, the squeeze would suggest that you're going to put it right on top of something. The problem with that is it's not warm yet. So you're going to squeeze it into a bowl in which you can warm up. You want warm gravy. Cold gravy, overrated. Believe me, I know. You don't want cold gravy. You want warm gravy. But Heinz is putting out a squeezable bottle of gravy. And between that and the KFC story, I have to tell you that's you're welcome. All right, I want to get to Sherry Cree here in just a second. I also want to tell you a sad story. Producer Chad came on the program yesterday, and he announced that he and his wife were offering $500 of matching funds. For the first $500, $10 become $20. You get the idea. Up to $500. And producer Chad is going to make that donation and to Rivers Promise. And no sooner than I had finished the show, and that's going for our Christmas projects and our Christmas gifts. And I'm going to get to Sherry, and I'll wrap up the show later after Doug Giles with the same topic. I got an email from our crew in Rwanda, my team over there, with sad news. And we had a little girl, 10 years of age, that went home crying, and she wouldn't eat. She just cried for a couple of days. Mom was getting worried about her starving herself, and the 10-year-old girl crying, not talking, very delirious. And Mom took her to the local clinic in the village, which is not high tech, but it is a medical kind of triage center. She goes in there, and they're talking to the girl, and she's not talking. And they told the mom to leave the room. Mom leaves the room. They sit down and talk to her. Turns out over the past couple of days, this young girl had been, let's just say, sexually assaulted by a 20-year-old man that lives somewhere outside of that village. And he had threatened what he would do if she ever told. And so she was living in fear that she couldn't even tell her own mother. Well, the medical team got that news of information. The local authorities, Rwanda Bureau of Investigations, were called. They tracked the guy down. He was about 10 miles there is a long ways because you're usually walking it. He had gone 10 miles away. They found him, arrested him, and are investigating the whole situation. Well, she has immediate needs. She has some physical things that we have to look after in the examination. She has counseling, therapy. The family's traumatized, the whole thing. Well, it cost Rivers Promise money. We take care. This is one of her kids, and you can't just say, nope, we only pay for your English class or your math class, but you get raped. We're not. No, you have. It's a holistic approach. And you'd hear that something like this happened in a public school in America. Mental health teams would be on campus. We don't have that. So we want to make sure this girl has all the help we need. And first of all, happy we raised all that money for shoes through producer Chad's matching gifts. I'm sad that we have to take other money and raise money for this. So I pinged my board and said, anybody want to help out on these costs here? And I'll reach out she is sponsored in her sponsorship program. That's a call I get to make today to her sponsor and say, I'm so sorry. And again, it was the guy's in jail, and we believe everything will work out all right. That being said, any donation that you give today, know that it's sometimes we talk about happy things to Rivers Promise. Buy the kids shoes, send them to school. But there's times like this that we step up as an organization and we take care of things, because if we didn't take care of this thing and help this little girl with therapy and counseling and just the care that she needs at this time, she would be devastated. It's devastating for the rest of her life. But if any of you would like to contribute to that cause, or just a general fund donation to Rivers Promise, maybe you want to get in on producer Chad's for shoes, I just wanted you to know, first of all, pray for this little girl. I'm not going to say her name, first name. You wouldn't know her anyway, but her sponsor could be listening. So I've got to call the sponsor on that. Can I put that call off? But I'm not going to say her name, but just pray for this little girl. Say your prayers. This little girl, she's now safe. The bad guy, the suspect, if you will, has been arrested. And let's just say we had a situation like this happen a few years back. A girl was walking a long ways to get fresh water. A similar thing happened to her on a weekend, and that person that did that will never see the light of day again. And by the way, that little girl, because of Rivers Promise, is fine. She thanks her sponsor all the time. Thank you for helping me during my trauma time, my hard time. And we know what she's talking about. She doesn't need to relive it, but she's always thankful for that. So anyway, for anybody. So that being said, if I'm a little glassy-eyed this morning, I'm on a 9-hour time difference, and I'm trying to get triage money over there. Is she at the hospital now? Because, she's got some health insurance, but what do we have to pay to she doesn't get stuck at the hospital? So it's a 9 hours time difference. And so by the time I could get clear answers from my guys and kind of get a real triage of the situation, I was kind of about 8 hours behind on news, like where are we at on this thing, and waiting for an update. By the time I got the answer and I was figuring how to get them money in the middle of the night, wire transfers can take a full business day. So magic happens. You figure out how do I get them money. By the way, they don't have Venmo there. There's no Venmo. They don't have Cash App. There are other apps. It's a difficult thing to send money instantaneously there. Western Union was closed here, and you can do that. So I was up till 3 or 3:30 this morning. And finally, I told my guys in Africa, I said, guys, I got to go to bed. I'm going to get 2.5, 3 hours of sleep at the very most today. So if I look bleary-eyed or I'm making no sense, blame it on Sleepy Jimmy. Just blame it on Sleepy Jimmy. All right. That being said, thank you, producer Chad. Your matching gifts were great yesterday, and I'm going to go watch that show after my day yesterday learning about this little girl. I'm going to go, let me go back to the happier times. We're just raising money for shoes and not have to pay for a tragedy that happened to a little girl. And justice, let me tell you, this guy did it. Justice will be served. I'm telling you, it will be served, and God will figure it out, because they don't put up with this stuff. All right. Yeah, there's no the cash bail thing ain't working for this guy. Yeah, I know the Democrats here would be trying to bail him out and saying he's underprivileged. We got to get him out. He's only 20. My God. No. He not there. They don't have that Kamala Harris crap going on over there. we want to make a donation, go to Rivers Promise. That's the craziest fundraising pitch ever. Riverspromise.org, riverspromise.com. Make a donation. This is the kind of crap we deal with. I talk about sponsorship and shoes and uniforms. But, we deal with stuff like this sometimes. All right, let me welcome into the program Sherry Cree, wonderful sponsor of the program, and we're always glad to have her. She's been to Africa. She's seen the work that we do over there, and it's always good when you get to see the happy stuff. The stuff we're dealing with yesterday was kind of sad, but Sherry Cree is back. I think last week she was out of town, then I was out of town, and Sherry, have you missed me? I gotta ask her. I think Sherry might. How are you, Sherry?
Good morning. I'm matching you with the glasses.
I was just going to say, I'm glad you got the note that we're supposed to match on the glasses. I'm so bleary-eyed because I got about 2 or 3 hours sleep that my eyes are blurry. So these are helping things focus a little bit more. Sherry, great to have you here.
Yeah, I just want to tell you that, I would, contribute, do whatever it takes for the girl that you were.
Oh, thank you very much.
It's so sad. It's so sad. And then these things, we don't know about it, but happens more often.
Yeah, it does. And you know what I think about is it happens to this little girl. Fortunately, she has, I get all emotional.
Yeah.
She's got Rivers Promise. Other kids, they don't have this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's talk real estate.
It's our daughters.
Other people don't have organizations.
Okay.
All right, you said that. I've got 3 hours of sleep, Delilah. Leave me alone. Don't pick on me. She's laughing at me. I said, I'm sleepy, okay? I really am sleepy. All right, Sherry, you sent me a topic you wanted to talk about, and I had cut and pasted a headline that I wanted to talk about. It's the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Let's unpack this. Fox 31, I know the Denver Post has it. The Denver has the most homes losing value in the country over the past year. Now, I read that and I go, I own a home in Colorado. That's bad. Mm-hmm. And then you pointed out it's not all of Colorado. It's Denver's pulling the whole state down. Unpack this story. Homes are losing value and it's Denver's fault.
Well, I wouldn't say it's Denver's fault, but you have to look at the very basic thing about data. Anytime that there's a news reporting particular data, you really have to understand what those numbers mean. And of course, journalism, there's the title to the article, and Denver lost the most number of homes, the percentage of homes lost value in the past year. So when you talk about value, they're talking about, we call it Zestimate. The Zillow algorithm will come up with your estimated value, and real estate values are based on location, size, condition, amenities like views and HOA communities, amenities, and the timing that determines your home value. And they just be aware that they're talking about Zestimate. So that's the algorithm shooting out your estimated value of your home. And then a title they put in was, buying a home was supposed to be a good investment, but in Denver, most of homes have lost value in the past year. So I just want to kind of tell you the story that, I got real estate license in 2008. And what was going on with the real estate, a lot of foreclosures, the hundreds of properties are sitting on the market. And some people, they were not selling the home, but they thought their home value goes down with all those foreclosures and low priced homes not selling. And, some of my friends reached out to me and said, hey, on my street, those homes are sitting vacant, very low priced. I'm concerned. My home value has gone down so much. And then I had 2 questions. One, what kind of mortgage, like a loan arrangement, do you have? Is your income able to continue pay as agreed? You didn't lose a job. You didn't, get divorced and have to go somewhere. You lost the job. You have to move to a different state. So first of all, your income, can you pay as agreed for your loan? And then the second question was, do you need to move somewhere else? Can you stay where you are? And if the answer is yes to both of them, you just pay lower property tax because your valuation goes down. The equity of the home doesn't really matter until you need to tap into it by refinancing or selling the home. So just keep in mind, real estate is not a very liquid investment. And just like any other investment, it goes up and down. But in the time frame of going up and down are like whale, it's a common sense based. The value goes up, value goes down. But if you look at long term, because real estate not supposed to be something that you invest in this month and cash out 3 months later. So when I was, as a starting real estate agent, typically the newer agents start from working with a lot of buyers because you don't have past clients who you sold the house to that they come back to you and they say, now we need to sell this and buy something else. So we work with a lot of first-time home buyers. And then, as an agent, I'm showing incredible home for dirt cheap, in 2009, 10, and then I show home and then my buyer is scared, oh, the market's bad. I'm a first time home buyer. Nobody's buying real estate. I'm concerned. And then they pass on it. So I okay, well, I'll buy it, and then I picked up, several single family home for $100,000. And
wow.
So then now, the investment property produce income because there's always use for it. And then over time, I've been generating rental income, and then property's been appreciating incredible rate long term. Now, if I had to sell it 6 months later, I don't know if I made money on it. So just everybody needs to kind of chill out and then remember, real estate is a long-term investment, very common sense based, very safe, appreciate, without, putting a lot of action to it. So I think that the title that the put in, like, buying a home, supposed to be a good investment, but most of the homes in Denver has lost value in 1 year. It seems like it's just like, people need to read the article and then data presented there to assess what's being said there.
Yep.
So,
so the headlines are kind of fun and they're spectacular. Oh yeah, that sounds bad. You're saying everybody take a deep breath. Just because homes in Denver or it doesn't matter where you're at, New York, the value goes down for 1 year. Long term, hang tight. It's going to bounce back. That's how real estate works.
Absolutely. But getting into the numbers, the share of the homes that lost value in the past year, according to Zestimate, it doesn't take into consideration, like if you did a beautiful remodel, finished the basement, your home didn't go down in value, just talking about general without taking into individual element into consideration. The 91% of Denver homes lost value in the past year. And then average value decline since the peak of your valuation, again, overall data is 9.7%. So if you remember, COVID and then after COVID, in Colorado, our real estate values are like skyrocketing.
Yeah.
Like 14% annual, 17% annual, and then from the peak of your valuation, the average value decline is 9.7%. So it's more like a correction to me than something to worry about. And then because of this over time, appreciation in your home value, it's nothing like 2009 that people are in upside down on equity and foreclosing, or you have to negotiate short sale in order to get rid of homes, forgiving for the deficiency amount. It's nothing like that. Most homeowners have huge equity in the house.
Yeah.
So it's very, very different situation. I think it's just a title catches everybody's attention. And as a media, that's important.
Yeah, that's just what happens. Sherry, before we run short on time, homeswithsherry.com. I've been telling people, I know they're thinking of Thanksgiving turkey, they're thinking of Christmas. Some people may want to do it now, but even if it's January, February, March, now's the time to make a call to start getting that strategy together with you and figuring out the best time. And it all can vary month to month, depending on whether you're buying or selling. People talk to that person who says, I'll call Sherry in January. I'll talk to her the month before I want to list my home. Now's the time to start thinking ahead. I mean, there's an importance in starting the process now, even if you don't have the sign of the yard. They need to have that meeting now. That's going to be the best thing they can do, right? Am I correct?
Yes, absolutely. And then if you are a seller or considering to sell your home, you need to remember your benchmark. When you bought a house, if you bought it 10 years ago, you had a huge appreciation. Well, the value might have gone in the past year, but it's just more correcting. Now, this is another topic to talk about, but the hot topic that everybody's talking about is the proposed 50-year mortgage loan. And to make homes attainable. And then not many people will carry continue the mortgage for 50 years.
Yeah, that's a long time.
But average people sell or refinance within the 10 years. So that's another topic for another day. But this price correction or adjustment might be a good thing, because those high values are driven 5 years ago, when everything was selling for $50,000 over asking, $100,000 over asking, people waiving the appraisal contingency to say, okay, well, just bring cash. If it doesn't appraise, that's what it takes to buy a home. So compared to those values, inflated values, it's starting to adjust, normalizing. And it's still a great time for buyers to get into the home ownership.
The key is, if you're a buyer out there, don't let that headline scare you. Go to the website, homeswithsherry.com. If you're a buyer, don't go, real estate's bad. No, this is the time to buy. Go do that. Sherry, I got to run. Doug Giles is coming up next. I appreciate you. I'm going to be in Africa next Friday. And after Thanksgiving, we'll do the show. And then the next Friday, I'm traveling back. So it's going to be a couple of weeks before I talk to you again. But I appreciate you hopping on here today, and we'll talk again soon. Thank you, Sherry. Sherry Cree, homeswithsherry.com. It's right there on the screen, homeswithsherry.com. If you're a buyer, you heard me say it, now's the time to buy. That headline meant to scare you about real estate. Denver values, market values, how home appraisal is down. Well, good. If you're a buyer, start buying. Well, I'm going to buy in March, Jimmy. When did the headline say values are down? Right now. Appraisals are down. Go buy. Now's the time to buy. I declare it buyer's market. You're welcome. Thus says the Lord. All right. Glad to have you here. Let me welcome my brother from a different mother, Doug Giles, jumping in here at Doug Giles, douggiles.org. Always a great guest to have on the program. Doug, I know you're brokenhearted. We won't be together the next 2 weeks. We got to make the best of this moment here.
Dude, I've been weeping all morning when you told me that news. I don't know how I'm going to live if living is without you, Jimmy.
When we come back together in a couple of weeks, I'm going to sing Old Peaches and Herb reunited, and it feels so good. If we're going to do song references, I can go.
Yeah, do Muskrat Love with Captain and Tennille too, man.
Oh, yeah, that would be very good. Doug, it looks like I got a 3-hour sleep. I had a tragic situation I told the listeners about at our school. I had to deal with a girl that was treated very incorrectly by a guy out in the village, and that guy's meeting the laws of justice now, but we're caring for her. Anyway, that being said, I'm so bleary-eyed, I had to put on the glasses so I can see, because I got about 2.5, 3 hours sleep, and now I feel like your twin.
Yeah, I understand the malaise of the bleary-eyed.
Yeah.
That's
I
why
got,
that's why I don't drink whiskey, man. That
yeah.
brown stuff will hurt you, buddy.
That might have been. I also had a meeting where there might have been a little pour of that yesterday, but I'm well, yeah, I don't. Yeah, I'm trying to avoid the whiskeys. All right, Doug Giles, let's dive into this whole topic of conversation. Candace Owens, I got to ask you this: Candace Owens kind of disappeared for a long time now after the death of Charlie Kirk, the assassination. She's back out there. Every time I turn onto some of the conservative sites out there, people are going crazy. Either they love Candace Owens, they don't love Candace Owens. And now Tucker Carlson is getting this flack because he had an interview with Nick Fuentes, and people said he didn't challenge Fuentes. It's amazing that these commentators seem to be making the news as much. They're the newsmakers. It's really incredible to watch some of these voices that we've heard. People report what they say, what they don't say. And one of the topics they're both criticized for is Israel. You're a man of the cloth. You're a man of a church-going ability. Are they right or wrong on Israel, Doug? Let's get to the brass tacks here.
Yeah, so I don't, totally watch them all the time. I am fascinated with Candace's investigation into Charlie Kirk's murder. It seems like she's the only one who gives a shit, and I don't buy Tyler Robinson shot him, with a 30-06. No, he didn't. A 30-06 would decapitate him. Jimmy, I just got back from a red stag hunt in West Texas, and I used a 30-06. And the red stag's a big deer, 350, 400 pounds. And the 30-06 traveled the total width of that red stag with the bullet lodging just underneath the skin on the left side of the stag. It went through shoulder bone. It went through dense muscle. It went through its heart, went through both lungs. And on the left side, it again, hit bone and then went through muscle. And we're talking about probably, 30 inches of width, maybe 3 feet. Big deer, man. And we're to believe because Governor Dewey Cox from the great state of Utah told us that they had this thing, zipped up in 33 hours. And Kash Patel's over there trying not to blink. And he's nodding in agreement that Tyler Robinson whacked him with a 30-06 from Grandpappy's World War I Mauser 98 rifle. And I'm a hunter, man. No, he didn't. He's not Popeye. Charlie's not Popeye. He ate spinach and made his bones so like steel, Jimmy, like steel. It's like, come on, man, go sell crazy somewhere else. So anyway, that's how I got onto Candace, because Candace, again, she's Charlie's buddy, man. That's undeniable, as much as people try to say that her and Charlie didn't have a relationship. That's just cuckoo talk. So anyway, kudos to Candace. I think, everybody's like, she shouldn't be prying into this stuff, Jimmy and Doug. It's like, yeah, you should. You should be prying into it, just like Jim Garrison pried into JFK's assassination. And everybody told, him that he was a nut and that, he's on a fool's errand. And remember Oliver Stone when he cobbled together that film, JFK, and everybody said Oliver's crazy in his conspiracy theory? He's freaking right. He was on it. And, and he took the wrath of the media because of it. So when neocons tell me to hate somebody, guess what? I'm going to go listen to them. I want to hear what that upsets the neocon, the warmongers so much. I really am interested about that. And, I know I'm rambling on, but this crap about, we're supposed to hate Tucker and Candace because of the Charlie Kirk investigation that Candace is doing, and because Tucker had a conversation with Nick Fuentes. I mean, what kind of hall pass do we have to get from these influencers to have conversations with people that we disagree with? I think that's total bullshit, Jimmy. I mean, you look at Jesus in the wilderness, he talked to the devil. So this is the devil. This is El Diablo, as they call him down here in South Texas. And I'd say he's worse than a Nazi. I would say that he's probably sexist, racist. He's evil. He's the personification of evil. And Jesus has a conversation with him. And then, Jimmy, don't tell anybody in the neocon world, don't tell Mark Levin, but Matthew, Mark, and Luke platformed that conversation for all eternity. For all eternity.
They gave it. They shouldn't do that. They should have depodcasted or deplatformed this guy.
Yeah, they amplified it instead. Yeah. And who else did? God talked to the devil in the book of Job. Have you considered my servant Job? And this whole thing, I like Trump's response. They're like, "What do you think about Tucker talking to Nick Fuentes?" And Trump's like, "That's what he does. He talks to people. Talks to Muslim warlords, talks to Putin." And this whole thing is that you can't talk to people. What kind of childish, middle school bull crap is that?
Yeah. Doug Giles, if you're listening later on the podcast where thousands of earballs will hear this show. Unfortunately, you don't get to see it because you're listening, but I'm glad you're out there. Thousands of you that listen to the podcast. That's Doug Giles, Giles, DougGiles.org, DougGiles.org. Doug, you're talking about this, what we get all twisted up in a knot about here in America. So it's Tucker's talking to this person, Candace did that, or we just get spun up in these things that really don't matter. It's not on our topic list. Have you been following what's been going on for the last few years, amped up the last few months into the Christians in Nigeria, the execution, the massacre, the genocide, and even the Christian churches in America not really talking about what's happening there? It is amazing how we sometimes major on the minors, and something that's major is happening that we should be paying attention to. We don't pay attention to. Yes, Charlie Kirk was a murderer, and every day there's more martyrs happening in Nigeria. Have you been following that story?
Yeah, you bet, man. And when people ask me, where my concern lies, it predominantly with the church and Christians worldwide. Forgive me if I don't get spun up about some Middle Eastern conflict that's been going on for millennia. Okay. Yeah. The thing that gets my dander up is, again, you see the Christians in Nigeria, and I think they kidnapped 25 schoolgirls just 2 or 3 days ago.
A couple of days ago.
Yeah, these are Muslims. They come in there, and they've killed hundreds, if not thousands, of people, and 25 schoolgirls. And we hear nary a peep about it. The major Christian influencers that are pushing us into forever wars, and that we're disobedient to the Lord if we question Benjamin Netanyahu. Are you kidding me? I can't question anything Netanyahu does because he's Israel. Again, man, I'm a Christian and I can question everything. I'm called to question it. I'm called to investigate. But here's the thing that, again, Jimmy, that puts my dander up, and I don't even know what that means, but it sounds bad. CNN, Fox News covered it a little bit, but there's nary a peep. Trump put it on the map, and I think I think it's sad, again, that these Christian influencers, these leaders, not saying anything about people in the body of Christ. I guess they're the wrong color, man.
Yeah, I've said that before. When the Boko Haram stole those girls several years ago, and I remember the old days that Michelle Big Mike Obama came out and held up a sign and said, "Give us our girls back," and she had the duck face. So sad. I'm like, this is stupid. We're dealing with personification of evil here, and holding up a sign on Twitter is not going to get us anywhere. But again, you go to most churches across America, you'll probably be more prone to find more churches in America that are holding classes on biblical end time prophecy, Israel, Netanyahu, how the end time chips are falling into place, than you will about the persecution of Christians and martyrdom around the fate of Christianity. We're being told to go to the End Times Prophetic Conference, but nary a mention or a prayer on Sunday morning for the persecution of the church in Nigeria.
Yeah, especially if you go to Calvary Chapel. Their magazines are why, again, we should, lock, stock, and two smoking barrels, be a part of Israel's, 75 front wars. And but again, Christians getting liquidated, whatever. That's in a far, far away place. So's the other conflict that's going down. But, there will be a curse upon thy brood, Jimmy, if you speak ill of BB. I don't buy it. Yeah. I don't, forgive me, Lord, if I'm sinning. But, John the Baptist said, hey, to the Pharisees, to the leaders of Israel, he told them, it's like, don't come up to me saying that Abraham's your father. And then John looks down at the rocks. He said, God can, from these rocks, raise up children of Abraham. In Christ, there's no Jew, there's no Greek. We're all fallen. You're either in the first Adam or you're in the last Adam. And I don't care where you hail from, Yeah. So that's just silly me bringing the Bible into this equation.
It's crazy, Doug Giles. Here's another sign. Read your tea leaves here. If you go to a church that did not talk about the death, the assassination, the murder of Charlie Kirk, and you go to a church that has not mentioned the Nigeria massacre, how many more signs do you need that you probably need to find a new place of, let's say, fellowship? That's just me.
Yeah, again, and there's, I wouldn't say it's a multifaceted reason, but there are, several reasons. I think one of them is, the whole church has been pussified, that they're not going to talk about anything that would be remotely deemed divisive because, Jimmy, the mistress's BMW costs a lot of money. Expanding, the church's Woman Aglow wing, that's going to set you back $2 or $3 million. And so you don't want to piss off, some flaming liptard, that's in the fourth row. And so they avoid all of these topics like Rosie O'Donnell does her ab blaster, because again, it could affect their bottom line, if you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Doug Giles, do you go shoot a turkey for Thanksgiving? Do you hunt your own turkey? Do you go down to the grocery store?
I hate turkey, man. I hate it. I mean, it's just, there's very few people that just know how to really rock a turkey. It's usually the most dry. You got to drown it in gravy, And so when I was out hunting red stag last week, dude, we were covered in turkeys. I could have got my limit super easy, and I just don't like the food. I mean, it's just nasty.
What you having for Thanksgiving there, the Giles estate?
Yeah, so man, my daughter, she has really figured out the chili, and so we're utilizing some beautiful, wonderful, high protein, low fat, yummy elk meat. And man, the hoodoo voodoo that she has done in this recipe for chili, I could eat chili until Jesus comes back. So I know you're going to laugh at me when I say this, but it's getting cold down here, and it's like, like getting around 50. And so,
it's time for the chili.
Hey man, when it gets 50 degrees, and I lived in Miami for 20 years, anything below 64, I'm putting on a jacket.
Yeah.
So, yeah, 50's cold. I can't do the Colorado stuff, bro.
We haven't really had snow in Colorado, at least where I live, yet. It's been the longest dry, no snow period in recorded history. And for that, some people are panicked. And I'm actually saying, thank you, Jesus, for answering my prayers and not letting us have snow. I know it's coming, but when it comes, I'll be envious at your 50 degrees. I'll be coveting your 50 degrees. Doug Giles, will miss each other the next 2 weeks, and we'll sing Reunited. It feels so good. Folks want to follow you, read your books. It's Christmas time. I mean, it's time to start buying those Doug Giles books and leave them out for your libtard relatives, put them on the coffee table, or just give us gifts out for Christmas.
Yeah, stocking stuffers, man, big time. And, again, you're very familiar with my books. I pull no punches. And they're short, Jimmy. They're short. You can actually finish one of my books. Have you ever read a book and you're just like, I can't read the rest of it? Because it's like 900 pages. I had this famous author give me his book, and I said, I'll never read it, but thank you. And mine, it's great bathroom books, man. Just sit in there for like 45 minutes, boom, done. And you get informed and entertained in a nice short whack. Yeah, go to DougGiles.org. You got it on the screen there.
Yep.
And got all the artwork. Use Wild 30 if you want art. Wild 30 to get 30% off limited editions and open edition prints. If life imitates art, don't get lame ass art.
Don't do it. Wild 30, the promo code of DougGiles.art, and that's a great thing, especially that, you're trying to, what am I going to put in the guest room where grandma's going to stay? Put some Doug Giles art up, and grandma will thank you for that. Yeah. Doug Giles, it's a pleasure, sir. I'll talk to you in a couple of weeks.
Peace out, buddy. Stay rowdy.
You got it. DougGiles.org, DougGiles.org. All right. Good to have all of you here on the show. Looks like the YouTube hecklers are back in here this morning. The YouTube hecklers, I guess I don't know. They finished a meeting with the parole officers, I think. Who's the most hated team in the NFL? It's probably who you would expect. Not the Dallas Cowboys. Now, they're my Cowboys, but I make fun of them as much as anybody does because the owner there is not a great owner, and so I make it. But they done a survey here as you go into football weekend. A sports betting site used Google's keyword planner to figure out the most hated team in the U.S. It wasn't a survey. It was actually looking up keywords and algorithms and saying, okay, this team's really hated. You know who's 13 different states, including Alabama, California, and Texas? Most hated team there? Philadelphia Eagles. The Philadelphia Eagles. Number 2, 8 states, including Colorado, where I'm at, hate the Las Vegas Raiders. Colorado, Utah, Missouri hate the Raiders the most. 6 states have a tie between the New York Jets and the Green Bay Packers. And only 3 states hate the Dallas Cowboys and the Pittsburgh Steelers. They tie for the 5th most hated out there that you can find. So there's your team. Let's see, what state? Montana hates the Raiders. Kansas is most hated as the Raiders. Now, this is interesting. In Georgia, Atlanta, it's the only state in the union that their most hated team is the New Orleans Saints. I'm not exactly sure why they would hate the New Orleans Saints in Atlanta, but they really do. But there's a whole swath. I've got the map here. A whole swath of states that hate the Philadelphia Eagles. And for that, I have to say, I don't blame you. I hate the Philadelphia Eagles as well. I'm supposed to catch up a game with the Eagles and Cowboys I guess play this weekend. And one of my most annoying pansy Eagles friends wants me to meet with him and have cigars while we watch the game. And I told him I probably will, but I may get a little cough going on and not be able to go because it's hard to watch a football game with the Eagles fans. They're just really sensitive, delicate flowers. They really are. All right. Glad to have all of you here on the program. Don't forget, we will not be here except one more show before Thanksgiving. That's Monday. And I would like to also remind you, I got a little emotional early in the show talking about the situation that we have at our work in Africa. Found out that one of the little girls that is sponsored was in her neighborhood, in her village, and was assaulted by a very bad person, a very bad man 3 different times. And they finally got the information. So that guy's in jail. But we're trying to help her care, etc. And if you'd like to pitch into that, that would be a great thing. I'm going to be making a donation today and do that. Somebody asked me how much is it go. We don't really know. Ongoing care, therapy, counseling for the girl. She's hopefully, I'm waiting as soon as the show's over. I'll be checking in. It's 9 hours in advance. Hopefully they got her the hospital care. She had gone to remedial kind of frontline village trauma center. It's medical, but they just want to do a more thorough check, and that was going to be happening. And that's why I was up till 2 or 3 in the morning trying to instantaneously get money over there. Western Union is not an option at that time. Wire transfers from our bank take 2 or 3 days. This was money needed instantly. So, and the guy who's on our bank account, it was too early, and I needed to get it to the village. We had it in our bank accounts over there. I was working hard on this whole thing, and it was a tough night. So if you'd like to contribute, I messaged our board yesterday. I said, I'm going to set a goal of about $1,000 on this, because over time, more therapy, counseling that this little girl's going to need. And if you'd like to contribute towards that, feel free to do that. Monday, we'll come back and we'll talk more about the schools, the gifts we give for Christmas, but anything you give. If you get a Rivers Promise today, we'd appreciate $25 is a new pair of shoes for the kids there. $10 is a uniform. $30 feeds a kid 2 meals a day. You get the idea. Producer Chad generously offered up matching funds yesterday. I was contemplating going in and say, if producer Chad can do it, I can do it. But I haven't had the chance to think through my matching funds offer because I was up so late dealing with this other thing. So maybe Monday we'll come back with something like that. But if you'd like to make a donation today, I know for some of you get paid on a Friday. If you got a couple of extra bucks, feel free. It all goes to the kids, and I will be some stuff I had to send immediately, but the other stuff I'll be delivering over there for the Christmas gifts for kids. Go check out our website, riverspromise.org, riverspromise.org, riverspromise.com, riverspromise.org. We'd love to have your help on that. By the way, we'll talk about this, and I don't have time to show it all, but if you haven't seen, this is our campus. This is our Legacy Christian Academy campus here. And this building here is already completed right here. That's the building you keep seeing. We're going to be announcing soon the construction, doing the construction of all these other buildings. This is kindergarten through 6th grade. And then where's it at? I'm looking at it upside down and backwards. This building is done. That's the building you see. These are about to come. This is kindergarten through 6th grade. And then our teacher housing unit is going to go right here. We've bound to break ground on that here real soon. So anyway, we'll talk about that more. But anytime you give right now, we're just giving to the kids and helping them have a great Christmas and keep them in school. You can help us. Got to send some money there real soon for the food supply. If you could help us out with that, that'd be great. It's a busy time of year. A lot of stress to run an organization at this time of year. All right. Glad to have all of you here. Let's do the meme roulette section of the show. We talked about Sherry Cree, homeswithsherry.com. Don't forget that. Ladies and gentlemen, this is my cheap little globe because we're a cheap show, and we got big time hecklers out there on the YouTube. That's exciting. We're a cheap show, and they're paying attention to us. Keep paying attention, boys. Round and round the globe we go. Where we steal the memes from, no one knows. Embarrassed Cleveland Browns suddenly realized they forgot to put a logo on their helmet the whole time. Hated when that happens. You ever wonder that as a kid? I'm like, where's the logo, Daddy? It's a brown helmet. That's an orange helmet to me, but some people call it brown. I never got it, but I'm colorblind. Round and around the globe we go. Where we steal the memes from, no one knows. Truilla the Gorilla says the word retard is not meant for people with handicaps. It's meant for non-handicapped people who are stupid. If you don't understand this, you're a retard. Rest my case. Round around the globe we go. Where we steal the memes from, no one knows. I got to blow this one up because I just took the glasses off and now they think they're falling. There is no problem too big for the government to solve and no matter too big for the government to care about. And Ronald, that's Mamdani the Commie. Ronald Reagan said, well, the 9 most terrifying words in the English language are I'm from the government and I'm here to help. I think I will listen to the Gipper more than I will the Commie Mamdani. It is exciting, though. He gets sworn in real soon, right? He's going to the White House today. He's going to become the mayor in the next couple of weeks. They're going to, raise his right hand and put it on the Charmin bag. And do you swear to tell the truth? He's going to do all that stuff, right? Mamdani the Commie. It's like his first job. I mean, it's a big day. I hope his mom walks him to the bus stop and everything. I mean, the guy's going to be a mayor. It's his first real job. Sad. Round around the globe we go. Where we steal the memes from, no one knows. This came from Jeff. He hangs out in the chat room sometime. Rapunzel, let down your hair. And then he sees that it's a blue hair. Yeah, blue and pink. Yeah, living in Mama's basement probably. That's not Mama's basement, but yeah, that's scary. Those people hang out on YouTube. Rapunzel. Yeah, I'm okay. I'll take a pass, Rapunzel. You can put your hair back up. I'm done with you. Round around the globe we go. Where we steal the memes from, no one knows. This also came from Jeff, who's in the chat rooms, and he sends stuff on Instagram, and I don't check them, but I guess he does it all the time. I don't know. Presidents who were known by their initials. There's JFK. There's LBJ. There's W. And look at there. There's old FJB. Joe Biden. I missed that. Those were the great days. FJB, presidents known by their initials. There they are on the screen. We even know who DJT is. We sure do. All right, let's see if we have any more memes, or have we milked the meme machine dry? Stolen intellectual property. Round around the globe we go. Where we steal the memes from, no one knows. Ladies and gentlemen, they've checked. We have a women of stolen memes and intellectual property. Sorry to hear that, but we'll be back Monday. All right, I want to remind you again, Monday's the final show before the Thanksgiving break. We would love to have you be here on that. We'll take a break for Thanksgiving, partially because I'll be traveling. I mean, we could do the show on Thanksgiving or the day after, but it's travel time, and by the time, I couldn't guarantee my schedule on that Friday after Thanksgiving, and so we just decided to take that whole week off. So Monday's our last time together. And it's the last time you're going to hear me talk, at least before I go to Rwanda, about helping out our work there. But I will just run through it again. We had a girl yesterday that this is the stuff we deal with. This is why it's so important. When I tell you give to our greatest need and we make sure it goes to the right place, we deal with stuff like this all the time. We deal with kids that need food, clothing in Rwanda. Lots of situations. We had anytime you can help with our greatest need. If you'd like to, if you hear and say, Jimmy, I don't know if you've got this little girl covered. I'm not going to say her name because she's sponsored, but who has been through a real traumatic experience the past few days. And we're getting her the help she needs. She's getting the best help she can possibly get. We're working, my guys are working with the prosecution, the police department to make sure that this bad person is prosecuted to the full extent, which is not going to end well for this guy. But anytime you donate to Rivers Promise, this is the kind of stuff that we were able to do. The kids were able to help, and I got emotional early in the show, but for real, I can't help but think of how many other people, not just in Rwanda, but anywhere, that this would happen to a child, and that they don't have an organization looking out for their well-being and their care, then these persons get away with it. And I can't think of how many other persons this animal in Rwanda might have done this too that we don't even know about. So anyways, you give to Rivers Promise. We do appreciate it. Riverspromise.org, riverspromise.com. Either way, the website will work, and you can make a donation. And again, you can give to something specific. $10 is $10 is a uniform. Excuse me, $10 is a school uniform. $25 is that pair of shoes for Christmas time that we give away. You've got the $30 feeds a kid 2 meals a day for an entire month, and you've got $65 pays their school, their health insurance, their food. It kind of covers a more holistic approach there. But any amount you give, we do appreciate it. And we'll come back, talk more Monday, and maybe with a more optimistic approach. I'm very optimistic that we're able to help this girl, but it's your help that's needed. As Rivers Promise is an organization, I made a promise to my son to take care of all the kids that I could not adopt, and I only tried to adopt a couple, and one of them, the Lord blessed him. We got out of that country, and he's coming home for Thanksgiving break tomorrow. I'm excited to see my son back home, even though I was just out seeing him at college. But any gift you give, we'd appreciate it. Do it today. Today is the time. You say, I've been thinking about it, Jimmy. Well, if you could do it today, that'd be very helpful. We got a big week of Christmas shopping coming up and supplies, and we have our monthly food shipment or food wire that's supposed to go out this week. We've got to pay our teachers over there, and this is a very busy week, and then we have this added expense of this tragic situation that I mentioned earlier. So if you can donate today, if you can donate tomorrow, if you can't today, do it next week. But if you've been contemplating it, today would be a fantastic day to do that. All right, somebody just messaged me on my phone and said, are you going to take a nap today? Oh, that's Delilah. She messaged me. Where are you at? I'm on the show. Don't talk to me, Delilah. No nap today. No, it's napping weather here in Colorado. It's kind of rainy, cloudy, and overcast, and very cool. But no naps today. Got lots of work to do. Got to save children in Africa. That's what I got to do. All right, I'll see you Monday morning, right? Monday morning, we'll be back here together. We've done the meme section of the show. Again, riverspromise.org, riverspromise.com. And by the way, if you would like to be a sponsor of the show in any way, we always love to hear from you as well. All you have to do is send an email to info@jimmylakey.com, info@jimmylakey.com, info@jimmylakey.com. Right. Made it through the show. Only slightly emotional for a couple of minutes, but we made it. And I appreciate all of you, my friends. I appreciate you listening in. And I'd love to hear from all of you more. I really would. Send us an email, info@jimmylakey.com. riverspromise.com to donate. I am Jimmy Lakey, and I mean this. I'll see you Monday morning. God bless you. God bless America. Jimmy Lakey, peace. I'm out of here.